Hey YouTube, Alan back with another Master System Monday, and this week we're taking a look at Rocky. Now, in many ways for me, I'd class this as a lucky escape. I was a huge fan, and still am a huge fan of the Rocky movies, including the new ones. So I really wanted Rocky on the Master System. After all, I seen it in the Sega Game catalogue and kept looking at screenshots and thought it looked amazing. And I never got it back in it. Never seen a cartridge, never seen, it just never came up. So when I got back into collecting, more, actively, it was something I was always on the lookout for. And finally, I picked it up on the Sega 8-bit forums 10 years ago now. I paid £3, €3 actually, I think, delivered. So it was pretty good buy. And I was jumped straight into it. First impressions, great. You got the big Rocky opening crawl. You got some decent, title screen with Rocky. You got some nice sprite art with Rocky Apollo and the various characters. This is for a sports game, you got to temper your expectations. This is good. You jump into the gameplay though, and that's when things kind of fall apart a bit. So you first you take on Apollo, and he's as easy as Anton. You pretty much can't lose. And then you kind of go into this training thing, and the training is just button mashing, not really fun. And you kind of move your way through the movies essentially. And eventually, I can't remember against who it could be against Clubber Lang. The game just goes from so easy you couldn't possibly fail to rock hard, but tush, and there doesn't seem to be that much rhyme or reason. Now, maybe if you can actually get into the combat mechanism more, you might enjoy it more than I did. But ultimately, it just left me kind of feel. That's how I describe it. Just kind of like If you got to play a Rocky game, I would say instead of going for the Master System one, pick up Rocky on the GameCube or the PlayStation, probably on the Xbox, or I think Rocky Legends. These are much better fighting games, proper 3D and everything. So you have a lot more involved there. There's a story mode, and plus this one actually includes Tommy Gunn. I don't think the Master System one does. Much better game. This one, obviously, in terms of collection aspect, as I said, I picked it up for £3, so I'm not, or €3, so I'm not going to complain. Came nice and complete in great condition. Like, the manual is perfect, and to be honest, I'm surprised whoever had it didn't actually read a lot more. You can see time to train there. You got to learn about it. Probably stuff about the various boxers. Well, if that's meant to be Rocky, that is that's not exactly a great representation of Rocky now, is it? But yeah, the controls are a bit funky because instead of moving around the way you might expect, it's all kind of context based, which is it's probably the correct way to go about it, but just it feels odd. So anyway, what does it say on the back? Of course, sorry, I should bring it closer for you to get screenshots if we can. It's hard to with the light. And you can again see the training. Like this, the sprite work is quite good. It looks, big detailed sprites and whatnot. And it does make sense. You got to train up before your next fight and all that sort of stuff. And you kind of do, I found, because if you don't pass the training, which is very hard, you're not gonna succeed. So anyway, we have Rocky. You're living the dream, taking on all corners in your quest to be the best, the heavyweight champion of the world, a knockout adaptation of the boxing movie classic for all ages. And it's 1 and 2 players. I've actually never played this in 2 players. I don't think I could convince anyone to. Now there are no limits. Well, in terms of my reaction speed and ability to mash buttons, there were definitely limits on this one. As today, it's hard to say. I wouldn't recommend it as a game to play. It's probably something only Rocky fans would be interested in, honestly. As I pointed out, like there's better Rocky games, there's better boxing games, so I'd go for them first. But if you got a Master System and you're and you're a fan of Rocky, and you can pick it up at a reasonable price, give it a go. But don't go in expecting, a great game out of it. You might enjoy it, but I wouldn't. I think it's going to be one of those that you probably get bored of pretty quick. So unfortunately, that's why I said it was an escape for me, because I think I would have been disappointed if, this had been my Christmas game or a big birthday present or something like that. Maybe nostalgia would have made me grow to like it more, but I'm not convinced. So I consider I dodged a bullet on this one. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this look at Rocky, even if it wasn't as positive as some of my other videos. And we'll see you again next week for another Master System Monday.